Podcasting from somewhere in the San Francisco Bay Area, the birthplace of Bruce Lee, the iPhone, and the bendy straw. This is Ruel's Running Podcast, a podcast about running, health, family, play, and an NSNG lifestyle. And now, here's your host, Ruel.
There was a dream, a million miles away. There was fire in
Amazon.com. You know, I won't be surprised if more and more stuff that I shop for, buy, and get shipped to my home comes from Amazon. It's just a reality, right? And if this is your reality, go to ruelsrunning.com, click through to the Amazon banner to get to Amazon. Why am I asking you to do so? Well, it is a no-cost-to-you way. If you like listening to Ruel's Running Podcast, it is a way that you can help the show out without spending more than you've already spent while shopping at the good folks at Amazon.com. So help us out. Go to ruelsrunning.com, click through to the Amazon.com site, and shop, connect, and enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome to Ruel's Running. I'm your host, Ruel. How's it going? If you are a new listener, welcome to the show. If you are a return listener, welcome. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day to be neighbors. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? It's the running show, not about running. It's the show that is established so that hopefully people will know what not to do to podcast so that you can better podcast. It's a show that demonstrates how any idiot can podcast, because this idiot is podcasting too. Now, I do spend time talking a whole lot about nothing, and once in a while I will talk about some of my running endeavors, and once in a while I'll talk about something to eat, and once in a while I'll talk about why I prefer to follow an NSNG way of eating, an NSNG lifestyle, if you will. NSNG meaning no sugar, no grains, or more accurately, guys, this is very important, it's no sugar, no grains. It's not no sugars, it's just sugar. No sugar, no grains. Which is a way of eating and living that is introduced to me by Vinny Tortorich. Not just introduced to me by him, he introduced it to the world, to the masses rather, on his podcast, the the Fitness Confidential podcast, and with a book, and on his book Fitness Confidential. If you hear a lot of background noise, that's the road noise, because I am podcasting with the road again today. Wanted to give a quick announcement that I don't have a sponsor for this show, and I am open to another sponsor. I want to mix it up, and if anybody's interested, let me know over at the website. Hit the contacts page and hit me up. Yeah. What else? I'm I guess we'll just swing right into the program. What is cooking? Need sort of like a one of those dinner bells or the triangle to, let folks know, come and get it. What's cooking? but usually to come and get it is an indicator that the stuff's already been cooked and you want to go eat it now. You should eat it while it's piping hot. You know, there isn't a dinner bell that says we're gonna start cooking. But yeah, what's cooking? Well, I did another Instant Pot dish. It isn't a dish that is dependent on an Instant Pot. It's a traditional Filipino dish called chicken adobo, and I just happened to make it in the Instant Pot, which is awesome. So it does make the cooking time faster. If I wanted to enjoy, or if I wanted the family to enjoy some chicken adobo, it can be done fast. And it's like 8 minutes fast, right? Well, not really. And so chicken adobo, at least the way I make it, and depending on the region of the Philippines you're basing your recipe on, and I have no idea what region this one is based on. It's just what I like, what I'm familiar with. And it's basically, the ingredients include, I'll just walk through the recipe or the preparation. I happen to have some awesome chicken wings thawed out. You know, this is supposed to be some quality chicken wings, you know, the free range, cage free, headless, featherless, feetless, meatless chicken wings, and salted, seasoned salt, pepper. Okay, so on the Instant Pot, I'll turn it to saute, and that turns the Instant Pot on like a saute pan. No cover, just the open top. And I'll put in, I won't put oil. Guess what I'll put in? Bacon grease. I save my bacon grease, and I'll put 1 to 2 tablespoons in there. And I'll take the chicken, and I'll brown the chicken wings in that hot oil in the Instant Pot for, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes total. Whatever it takes. I essentially want to give it a little brown, and I want the skin of the chicken wings to sort of tighten up. You create that nice sort of casing to keep it all nice and tight together, because I'm going to eventually stick it in the pressure cooking process of the Instant Pot. So once I've browned the wings, I scoop it out, put it in a separate. I separate it basically. I put it in a separate bowl. With all of the juices and the drippings still in the saute pan, what I'll do is so dumb. I'll take all the chicken and put it back in. And the reason why I separate it to begin with is there isn't enough room in the Instant Pot to do the whole lot of chicken that I had thawed out. So, you know, I brown them a batch at a time, and I set aside the brown pieces into a separate pot. Once all the pieces are browned, I'll stick it all back in the Instant Pot, and I'll take I'll take like 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. So you'll wanna do the I'll prefer to do the gluten-free soy sauce, or even Actually, this batch I used the coconut aminos. That's what happened. Because we didn't have any more gluten-free soy sauce, and we weren't going to use the conventional soy sauce, the Kikkoman brand, because that stuff has like wheat as the second ingredient, and we wanted to minimize the wheat exposure in our diets. So it was the coconut aminos. So like 2 tablespoons of that, and then about no. Think back. It was a third cup of coconut aminos as an alternative to soy sauce, and it was a 1/4 cup of vinegar. I didn't use the apple cider vinegar. I would have used a white vinegar, but didn't have it that either. So I used a coconut vinegar. So I used a 1/4 cup of coconut vinegar. threw in 3 smashed garlic cloves, a couple of the bay leaves, more crushed black pepper, and kind of swirled that around, get all the chicken integrated with all of that liquid and stuff. Then I put the lid on the Instant Pot and turned the valve to sealed, and I hit the manual button, and I set it to just 8 minutes. Can you believe that? So once it gets the pressure, it's gonna pressurize for 8 minutes and then be done. And then once that was done, I take the valve and manually release all that pressure. And the reason why I want to do that, and I turn off the Instant Pot, because if you leave it with the pressure for too long, if you leave it cooking for too long, there's the chance that meat, the chicken, will just sort of break up, really, like fall apart. And I want to keep all of the meat and the skin and the bones together so that I can enjoy each of the wings, on their own, not with just a big old mess of seemingly decomposing chicken. And that's that, So that was primarily for meal prep for my wife. She takes 4 wings along with a whole bunch of other stuff to work for lunch. We'll put 4 wings in a glass dish, and I'll scoop some of that liquid that had rendered off of the chicken, and all of the vinegar and the aminos, all of that stuff gets integrated, and it's a nice sauce. So I'll get a little bit of that in there as well. She enjoys that with some cauliflower rice, which I prepare as well, but not in the Instant Pot. So that's what's been cooking. There's other stuff I've cooked, but I can't just sit here and talk about everything I cook, because I think I'm gonna get hungry, and I'm not in the mood to hunt for food, because I ordinarily don't bring anything. I ordinarily have coffee, but guess what? I am coffeeless at the moment. As the What's Cooking segment ends.
Coming up, Rue gives us something else to think about. How vague is that, Ruel? Geez. Could you be any vaguer, Ruel? Well, it's all coming up on Ruel's Running. Okay. The book is called Eat Happy, Gluten-Free, Grain-Free, Low-Carb Recipes for a Joyful Life by me, Anna Vicino. Eat Happy has 154 delicious grain-free, gluten-free recipes that are also free of any processed sugars. There are meats, fish, sides, soup, starters, casseroles, slow cooker recipes, breakfast dishes, and even desserts to satisfy any sweets craving you might have, all with virtually no sugar. If you are low-carb, paleo, are wanting to keep autoimmune issues at bay, or just want to lose extra weight, Eat Happy gives you comfort food where you won't miss the sugars or grains, so your body and brain can feel happy from eating real foods. Okay, go get it then. Now's your chance. Yay! Yay!
Yeah, I've traditionally have a cup of coffee with me doing this, but I don't today. I've been trying to change my routine a bit. Not saying I won't have coffee, but I did wake up this morning and I'm at the very end of my Pure Coffee Club Athletic Blend. I've got just a few more beans left, maybe just enough for the rest of the week. Then I'm done, so I got to get to ordering some more of the Pure Coffee Club coffee. You guys should check it out. If for folks who are fans of the show for a long time and are fans of NSNG, you know what I'm talking about. But if say you like listening to Ruel's Running Podcast and you don't know what NSNG is about and you're not part of that community, I would like to let you know that there is a company called Pure Coffee Club. You can check them out at purecoffeeclub.com. They make wonderful coffee. They've got currently 3 types of roasts, and they're all delicious. I've tried them all, check them out. It's a company that has been formed by Vinny Tordrich, our friend Vinny Tordrich and Andy Schreiber. Quality stuff. I can't wait to get another order in, so I have my coffee to enjoy. But I had that this morning. The Athletic Blend, I definitely needed the Athletic Blend because it has a little bit more caffeine than the other roasts, and I definitely need that pick-me-up. I've been trying to get back into some level of conditioning so that I can do a trail event next month. So I'm kind of feeling it. Last night I did a jump rope session. So that's not too bad. But before that, the day before that, I did a run midday, which I did on tired legs because the day before that I had picked up the jump rope again and did some barefoot jump roping, which I don't recommend for folks who aren't conditioned for it. And I clearly wasn't conditioned for it because my feet hurt. Standing barefoot on the cold concrete in the garage doing jump ropes and lashing my toes and my forearms and making a mess of my body. Got some good jump rope. So basically right now it seems that on the days that I'm not able to get any sort of run, I don't have anything else to do and I don't have a lot of time, so I'll use the jump rope. I have no idea if that's going to help my running at all, but that's currently what I'm doing. So it was kind of nice to go out on the run the day before yesterday on tired feet and legs. I did feel it. So if I can't get a long run and I can't do a back-to-back run, then I'll do something to get a little stress in my legs and my lungs, and then get whatever run I can in between, and then go from there. So today, hopefully, will be a run day. We'll see how I feel. Looking forward to it. Next month, I've registered for a trail 50K, and am I concerned? I am, because last year I came in dead last, and there was a whole lot of mud and a whole lot of slosh. But I do have experience now. I do have a little experience with the course. I have experienced the course. I have experienced the conditions. It's just me doing a little of some level of training so that I don't come in after the dead last. But whatever. I'm gonna have to finish it one way or another, because how am I gonna get home? So that's that. So I will finish the thing. The only question is whether it'll be at a better time or if it'll be after the cutoff. And that's that. And it kind of sucks not making the cutoff. Sucks so bad. That's what worries me, not making cutoff, because I don't want to get cut off. But I gotta change that thinking and know that if I just cover the distance, fuck the cutoff. I need to do that. But whatever. I can't remember. I'll have to somehow plug or link into the episode where I talked about my first experience at that particular trail event. But I'll do that later. I still have time. Yeah, that's my running bit. When I went out running the other day, I went out to I run in the city when I can, because I work in the city, San Francisco, and it can be the worst place to run, it can be the greatest place to run, and it's a little bit of both. My first marathon was in San Francisco, so being able to run in the city more regularly takes me back to that time when I was really, really at the beginning part of my running pursuits. And so this last run in the city, I went to a landmark that I haven't seen in quite a while, and it was nice being able to run to it and then head back. I don't know why it took this long for me to run there. I always thought that it was going to take me longer to get there, but it didn't. It didn't take too long. I ran to what's called the Palace of Fine Arts. If you're from this area, if you're familiar with this area, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, maybe you've seen the movie The Rock with Sean Connery as, I guess, the villain, and what's his name? What is his name? You guys are yelling at me right now. What's his name? Oh gosh, it'll come to me. Anyways, the movie The Rock. God, I can't believe I can't remember his name. It's the star of the movie. There's a scene at this dome-shaped structure with massive columns and right by a lake. I forget what the scene was about, but it was in that movie, The Rock, Palace of Fine Arts. I ran to the Palace of Fine Arts, cut through several neighborhoods and got there, and took a few pictures. It wasn't the greatest of days. It was pretty cloudy, but it was nice to see. It was nice to finally get there and see. And so that's my favorite run. I'll have to figure out somewhere else to go to and see other parts of the city while I'm out on a break. Awesome. How's your running been? I hope to have more conversations about running with folks in the future. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why I said that. That doesn't even lead into anything. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't mean to say that. I'm not gonna lie. So moving right along. No new updates with things on the family front. All the kids are getting bigger. If you guys remember from a previous episode about bullying, my son and the family was going through some drama with one of my son's schools, and I was pissed off about basically bullying and stuff. And bullying may not have been accurate, but that's the way I had to paint the picture in order for my voice to be heard, my family's concerns to be heard, because my son was being sent home, or we were getting calls from the school about my son getting popped in the nose and bloodied, or getting injured because somebody tossed a trash can and hit him in the head or something like that. Kind of rowdy, and wanted to ensure my son's safety. So I talked in that episode about that whole experience, that whole scenario. And so everything cooled off. I made enough noise, got enough attention. Superintendent, principals, not so much the teacher, because the teacher ended up quitting. I don't know what the condition, the details were there, whether she quit or if she was let go. But what it meant was, the classroom got a brand new start with a teacher who we've got to meet and found to be very likable, and who understood what was going on. So, everything's are going well. But we're now at a part in the school year where, we can revisit where my son's going to be, because he wasn't in the home school, where we live, and maybe in parts of where you live, you have a home school. Based on where you live and the zoning, there's a home school, there's a school that kids go to based on that. So my second son wasn't at a home school. He was attending special classes in a different school within the district. But this was a time where we got to revisit, and say, can he come to the home school now? And will he have a class in his home school? And it turns out, yes. So, we went through all the paperwork and all the meetings and stuff to make sure that transfer request was fulfilled. And today actually is the day that he got to start in the new school. And he's excited. his older brother's excited about it, so it's awesome. It feels great as parents to get that. One's a third grader, one's a first grader, so now they're both, it's in the same place. And what that does is that makes the logistical part easier. There's one less place to go to, basically. Up until this point, the boys were in separate after-school care programs, and so now don't have to make that one trip to the other place, and so yeah, it's awesome. The kids are growing, man. If you don't have any kids, you don't get it. But if you don't have any kids, but you basically raise other kids like they're your own kids, then you kind of get it. And I say kind of get it because unless you're like the legal guardian and whatnot, you're not having to deal with other stuff that goes along with being that legal guardian or parent, like the financial responsibilities and the emotional responsibility, care that comes along, and all that stuff, and dealing with the behaviors and the misbehaviors and stuff, but also the joys do come along with it. So that's definitely another thing you miss out. If you are out there listening and you plan to have a family of your own, good luck to you. And I'm not gonna lie, now this is an appropriate use of I'm not gonna lie. From the outside looking at other families, and it can look wonderful. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of work. No one's going to tell you that when you have that kid that, you're going to lose your sleep. You're going to lose your routine for a long time. And if you are a night owl anyways, as a bachelor or a married a married individual who isn't a parent, being a night owl and then is different from being sleep deprived as a parent, because that's what I was thinking. I used to, before kids, I used to stay up really late. I had that mindset of, if Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Edison, if they were able to, do great things on less sleep, then there's no reason why I can't, operate off of less sleep. And so when I thought that, okay, I'm going to start having kids, my wife and I had our first kid, I thought that I'd be able to, I can handle, the late night, taking care of the kid in the late nights, because I'm up anyways. What you need to understand is that when you're a bachelor and night owl, you're not a bachelor and night owl who has to deal with a crying kid and deal with changing diapers and deal with, carrying the infant for long periods of time to try and figure out, and the key phrase is figure out, how do I stop this kid from crying, right? So maybe I just gotta hold the kid longer, because suddenly the kid seems to be better when I'm holding on to him, so there's a whole different endurance activity, sleep deprived and on your feet, shifting your weight constantly to support a child who you're trying to soothe and comfort. It's exhausting, and not to mention, that's not something you may not really be interested in doing. You want to be the parent, but you don't want to do the duties because you haven't evolved into that yet. It's going to take time. You're going to be uncomfortable. And the only reason why I'm talking about this is because I know some new parents out there who are going through this, and I remember clearly what that's like. It's not the same. If you're a night owl and you think that you can be a night owl and a new parent, but it's not the end of the world. You do evolve into the role, and you do evolve into the reality that your time will be dedicated to that, and it's going and it'll impact your ability to get to your work and leave your work, whether you like it or not. And that's something that has to be negotiated and understood with the people you work around and for. It's a lot of work, not gonna lie. But there's a lot of moments that great wonderful moments that can happen and you can cherish, and knowing that you play a role in molding an individual or however many individuals that you want to raise. It's awesome. Now, for example, and to kind of go back into the whole bullying thing, I may have described it. There were times where I was just so frustrated and upset about the situation that before I sent my kids off to school, again, they're first and third graders, I had to tell them, kids your age usually, unless it's an exceptional situation, kids your age usually, what's happening is, if there's going to be a scuffle, somebody's going to end up in a headlock, or someone's giving somebody else a headlock. And this is what a headlock looks like, and this is what it feels. I had to do some demonstrating, and I had to say, when someone breaks the rules and hurts you, you've got to do what you can to avoid it. And if it cannot be avoided for whatever reason, and you're in a situation where you have to defend yourself, don't worry about the rules, defend yourself. And this is how you can defend yourself, and this is just my parenting style. I'm not opposed to teaching my boys that if you punch a kid in the nuts because you're trying to defend yourself, that's a good way to sort of to help yourself. Hit the other kid in the nuts. Don't hit him in the dick. Hit him in the nuts, because hitting him in the dick isn't going to do anything. But when you hit him in the nuts, do it. And sometimes you might have to do it multiple times if you don't get the effect the first attempt, because maybe the kid's wearing jeans, and the jeans are sort of like providing the shield, or maybe you're off target and you hit the inside thigh. So you do your best. Right? Should you be in a headlock, just turn your head into the body. You can take a nice bite out of somebody's abdomen or on his ribs. Whatever it takes for you to free up the situation, kind of create separation. There's also stomping of the feet. You stomp right on top of the feet once, twice, whatever it takes for it to be uncomfortable and create separation. You just don't want to be caught up in a headlock. And also in that situation, instincts are pull somebody's clothes, but you want to pull somebody's hair, because once you control, this is another lesson. Lesson 1 was hit a guy in the nuts can neutralize something, and there are other techniques. And the lesson 2 was, a headlock is this is a headlock. And lesson 3 is, if you can control somebody's head, you can control the body, right? Basically. Right? So if you pull somebody in the hair, if you pull a kid if you pull somebody's hair and you hold on to it, you control his head through the hair, and you can basically control his body. Not to say that you can cause a guy to levitate by just pulling on his hair upwards. No, it's like, but if you pull his hair away, his head's gonna have to move away. Otherwise, he's gonna lose hair. Right? And if his head is going to want to move away, the body's going to have to follow. Too bad this is audio, not video, and I can't demonstrate anything. So, in frustration and concern for my kids, there are mornings like that where I had to say, you know what? Stay away from that problem. Should there be a problem, stay away. But should the problem be where, you're harmed, these are the things that you can do to protect yourself. And should you get in trouble from the school because of you protecting yourself, I'm not going to be upset at you. I'm not going to be mad at you. It's hard for kids that age who don't understand, because my kids, they don't grow up. We don't raise them to be mean. We don't raise them to be hurtful. They're not in martial arts. In this sort of sissified society, the kids are taught, use your words, use your words. Yes, using your words is great, don't, hitting is not nice. That's right. Don't hit. Hit is not nice. And if somebody hits you, just tell a teacher. And that only works so far, and that's how the kids have been brought up through the system, right? And, if somebody hurts you, tell a teacher. And then hopefully there's a teacher there that can sort things out and make sure that nothing happens again. But should things escalate, now, you've got to take care of it yourself. Especially when, in our situation, we talked to we expressed concerns to the teachers and principals, and it was just all the way I described it in the past episode was, it was just sort of like, all I hear is just, I hear that stuff's coming out of your mouth, but I don't really feel confident that you're paying attention really and concerned. You're just kind of like playing politics, So anyways, yep, family's doing great. Amen. Hey everybody. So the family is doing great, and we actually spent another long weekend. It was the Martin Luther King weekend. We spent some time back at Anaheim. We thought that the holiday vacation would have been the last time that we would spend at Disneyland, in and around Disneyland, and trying to best take advantage of the annual passes that we purchased a year ago. But when we realized that the Martin Luther King weekend would have given us another long weekend, we said, let's do it. And we went back down, did the road trip, just several hours to Southern Cal, and we stayed at there's basically one of two hotels outside of the park that we go to. So we did what was what the heck was it called? Why can't I think what it is? It's I think it starts with an H. I'm clearly not operating as best as I can without that coffee at hand. But regardless, we took another trip, and it was great. It was great because it didn't include the hustle and bustle of the holidays. There was still a good amount of people attending the parks, so those are the folks that figure, why bother doing the trip during the holidays when there's a lot going on, when folks are going to spend time probably with family and friends elsewhere, and just plan for a Disney trip after all of that has been done. So did that. The weather was great. It was a time when there were parts of the park that were actually closed off for maintenance reasons, which feels nice. There isn't a sense of us missing out on anything, on any parts of the park, only because we've been there several times in the past year, so we know what it's all about. And we didn't, we understood. It felt actually nice because knowing that the park has taken the time to close off sections and things for maintenance reasons is great. We could see a whole crew of men inspecting the tracks on the roller coaster, things of that nature. So it's great knowing, and we've been on rides and never felt like, oh, this is kind of dilapidated or this is kind of worn down. It's actually kind of pouring right now. If you can hear that, all the raindrops. I did not bring a rain jacket. I got a jalopy umbrella, one that folds up and fits nicely in my backpack, but it only provides minimal coverage. It's one of those umbrellas that when the wind hits it a certain way, the thing flips upside down and you look like an idiot to everybody else. Anyways, so yeah, we spent the weekend at Disneyland. It was great. A nice way to sort of take a vacation from the hustle and bustle of the holidays and do some cool stuff. Now it's really coming down. Oh my gosh. I kind of wish I was running right now in this. And yeah. Speaking of running, this segment of the podcast is actually a day later from the beginning part of this episode. So I actually did take the day yesterday to do that run, and it was my second run in the week where I actually got to a certain destination, which was the Palace of Fine Arts, and it's awesome. So there I am. Here I am. I got a good week's worth already of exercise, some level of conditioning, some level of training, where I'll mix it up. One day I'll do one day if I don't get a run, I'll skip rope. And it's typically 10 minutes of rope. And then the next day I'll do a run, and I'll feel the tiredness in my legs because I'm just that out of shape. Followed up with some rope, and then, kind of mix it up. Rope, run, rope, run, rope, run. I think I'd run more often if work things didn't get in the way. Like right now, I could be set up to do another run on this particular day, but I don't have any gear. So the thought is I could just do some sort of hiking, some fast hiking. See if I can get my heart rate up a bit and do that in lieu of a run. And then if I don't get that opportunity, or regardless, at the end of the day, I'll hit the ropes. I'm really, really trying my best to fine tune using the Buddy Lee jump ropes that Chris Rollins has been promoting, and I'm a big fan of. I've had some struggles with using it. I basically have to change my technique, change my ways. I gotta because it uses a different swivel technology, far more greater technology just than the single ball bearing that I'm used to. It's on a leather rope. Looks like I have to do some adjustments with the cord, make sure that it's the proper length, and hold the Buddy Lee jump rope handles a certain way, and to have my wrist pointed a certain way, and do less arm work and more wrist work when skipping. I do just fine on the single skips, the basic skips, but if I want to do things like the double unders and whatever, those movements seem to be the greatest impacted by my poor technique using those ropes. I could knock it out just fine on the other rope, so it's a different thing, and it's humbling. So that's that. I should actually wrap up the episode here and kind of do some last minute things like remind folks that I do operate abadamstudios.com. I do spend time working on designs and websites. I do most of my work for Vinny and Andy and NSNG and things along those lines. The community, the NSNG community. Those samples can be seen on the website abadamstudios.com. I basically link to a Instagram gallery, and I have fun there. And a lot of the web related work I do for places like restoreitrestoration.com, which is our friend Lonnie Beecham's company. I help him when he needs something for his website, whether that be additional pages or posts or things to help optimize for search engines. I do what I can there. And then I have other side websites that I work on that are more personal. Not just, like I've been doing the ruelsrunning.com site for a long time, but abadamstudios.com. I've been building a website for my wife for her business, and that's still ongoing. And it looks like I'm adding a an additional project which ties in a lot of everything that I do, from podcasting to websites to graphic design. And that's something that I'll make a future announcement on. So stay tuned. And remember, folks, eat something delicious. Go run, eat something delicious, and somewhere in between, make sure to hug your family, hug a friend, and go run something. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Ruel's Running Podcast with Ruel. If you like what you just heard, share it with your friends and your enemies. Also, be sure to check out the site over at ruelsrunning.com. This has been another Coffee with Heavy Cream production. Join us next time for another silly show of Ruel's Running Podcast.